Here's your host, Chelsea Edwards.
Welcome to another episode of Chattin with Chelsea. I'm your daytime bestie, Chelsea Edwards. Today's show is for any parent who's ever heard the words, "Your child has autism," and then wondered, okay, now what? We are connecting you with two incredible women. Here today we have Camille Joy, author, podcaster, and autism advocate, helping families raising children with special needs with the reminder that they don't have to do this alone. Our first guest is Nadine Wright-Arbubakrr, who comes all the way from New Jersey, but became one of my besties a year ago today when we were both honored as Gamma Sigma Sigma's Women of the Year. Since then, I've admired her incredible work through her organization, Nassan's Place, and one of her daughters wrote a television episode for the Netflix series Ada Twist with a nonverbal character with autism based on her brother Nassan, introducing him and his family's journey to the world. Welcome to Chattin with Chelsea, Nadine.
Thank you, Chelsea, for having me.
I mean, that was so cool. How do you feel that your daughter was able to create a character that really went mainstream based on your son?
Full circle moment. I was totally taken aback. I was super proud because not one, but two of my children were a part of this amazing opportunity that my daughter Naya had to create a character living with an autism diagnosis. And what I love that Naya did with this character is she made it real. Mm-hmm. So often you don't see Black and brown children exhibited on television, let alone animation. And she based it on her brother, who is nonverbal. Yes. And you don't see that often. So often you see the good doctor or you see Rain Man and they're high functioning, but you don't see the individuals, especially in Black and brown, that are nonverbal and who have to navigate different ways of communication. Mm-hmm. So it was a super proud moment for me all around.
Yes, and that has been huge, like a huge part of your mission, helping with representation, helping with education. Let's talk about why you felt the need to leave your job. You had been in banking for 2 decades. And after your son, I guess after he got a diagnosis, at some point you said, I have to leave.
Yes.
Talk about that decision.
I had been in banking for almost 20 years. I came straight out of high school. Back then, in the 80s, you didn't need a degree to work yourself up. I worked myself up from a teller all the way into a managerial role. So I was living my dream job, making 6 figures, living my best life, making sure my children had what they needed, and working 16-hour work days. And then this thing called autism happened to my son, which happens to be my last child and my only son. Didn't know what it was, finally got the diagnosis when he was 26 months, and it became a game changer. I needed to be home with him to understand what this thing was called autism. And it led me to going to college, because I didn't go out of high school, which I will tell people, if you have an opportunity to go to college right out of high school, do it.
Okay.
Right? I was 40 when I went back with 3 kids. Yes.
Wow.
40. But I needed that degree because the only job that I saw that I could do that would help me be home with him the days that I needed to be, and that was to teach. So at the ripe old age of 40, I went to college, and I got my bachelor's degree in business management and marketing.
And you're an incredible woman. So now you have a whole organization dedicated to this. And in the meantime, you've seen the numbers of autism skyrocket almost from when you first learned about it.
Yes. I remember getting the diagnosis for Nassan when he was 26 months and doing some research. Back then it was 1 in every 150. I live in the state of New Jersey. New Jersey was 1 in 35 at that time. We were the largest, highest population of autism in the country at that time. But then I did a little bit more research and found out 10 years prior to my son's diagnosis, because he was diagnosed in 2004, so with 1994, the diagnosis was 1 in every 10,000. So over a 10-year span, that rate had skyrocketed.
Wow.
Scary.
That is scary. That's an incredible increase. Now, what are you finding when it comes to families who are receiving this diagnosis? Have they been like you, the families that you work with, where it's just going in, blind, really, and having to figure it out as you go along.
Yes, they are blind, just like I was. And it took me some years before I started Nassan's place. But one of the things I said I never wanted another parent to do is to feel the way that I felt when I got that diagnosis, because they don't give you a handbook to say step 1, start ABA, step 2, start OT, step 3, find a support group, step 4. There was nothing. There was nothing. I cried literally every day because I didn't know what this was. And once I stopped feeling sorry for myself and blaming myself, because so often as parents we do, it could have been something I did. Was I too old? I had to get over that, and I had to now go to work for my son because he wasn't getting any better, but he needed things. So one of the things I realized is that, where do I go? And when there wasn't anything, I decided to create it. So now, we are 14 years in. Nassan's Place has provided a host of programs, after school programs, summer camps. We were even able to get municipalities who never offered autism swim safety programs to now open their doors and offer that.
Wow.
One of the number one cause of death for a lot of our children through elopement is drowning. A lot of our children love water. So it was important for me to make sure children in our community had access to that. And what I love about what we do, because it's so important, is that it's inclusive. So often the siblings are left out, right? But they are part of it too. They're impacted as well. So we include the whole unit, but we're able to now provide supports for these families in real time. If a family calls and say, Nadine, I can't do this anymore, I get those calls, it's overwhelming. A lot of the families that we serve are single parent household. We're able to send some support staff in real time to help give them a mental break. Sometimes they just need to recharge 4 or 5 hours. So through our organization, we're able to do that. I mean, one of the things I didn't realize that I was going to be up against was food insecurities, mental wellness of these parents caring for these children, and homelessness.
Wow. So these parents already have so much to figure out with an autism diagnosis. And then some of these families don't even know what they're eating that night. So just incredible work that you're doing your best to cover all the bases. We're going to talk more about that. But first, we have to take a commercial break. We're going to bring you back, but we're going to talk to another mom who is helping families navigate the autism diagnosis. Be right back after this. Welcome to the show, author, speaker, advocate, and creator of the Moments of Joy podcast, Camille Joy. Thank you for coming on.
Thank you for having me, Chelsea.
I feel like this has been a long time coming because I was already following you, watching your story. We follow each other. Yes. So let's lay it out for the folks who are just meeting you.
Yes.
Your focus really is also helping families, parents understand autism. This was after your son was diagnosed, but he also had congenital heart failure. So
born with that. He has congenital heart disease, and he was born, in my womb. They told me he would be born this way, and he had 3 surgeries. At 18 months was his last one, and it was open heart surgery. Wow. And then right after that, we got the autism diagnosis. So
my goodness,
a lot.
Okay, so then how did you? It's like you're having to navigate 2 things. How did you sort it out?
So I always say autism was the thing that knocked the wind out of us. Like, you would think it was the health scares, but it wasn't, because you can go in the hospital, have the surgery, go home, heal, and it was like nothing, But autism presented in so many different ways. And I had this unique situation. I moved from Connecticut to Houston right before the pandemic. So it was just me, my husband, and kids. So I didn't have family.
Yeah.
And so here I was with this new diagnosis, not knowing what to do, stressed because, it was a lot of crying. He was nonverbal and just, meltdowns, sensory overload, all these things that I know today, but I didn't know. I didn't know what therapy to put him in besides speech therapy. I didn't know what could help him. So I just turned to sharing online. And back then there was this app called Clubhouse.
Okay.
It was an audio app, and I was already just used to talking, so I just grew on that app and formed this community, and we would have a support group every Monday. And then the app kind of dwindled away, but I kept going online and then grew this community.
Yes.
I'm sharing raw moments.
Right. So is that what you share on Moments of Joy? I feel like it's that and more.
Because it has transformed. The podcast is 8 years old now, so I consistently did for years post episodes every week. Now I'm kind of all over the place, more sporadic because life has grown.
Yes.
So,
Life is life.
Yes.
For all of us.
Yes.
Yes.
So, yes, that's how I started. And then, continued that page on social media and then just grew everywhere, TikTok and Facebook. And all parents and families are like, my child, my daughter, my grandson. And one of the biggest things I pride myself in is sharing what I know.
Yes, yes.
So I share every resource.
What's been one of the top things that people have come back to you and said, this just changed everything for me?
Oh my gosh, it's so many different ones. The one I get all the time is the pull-ups, because I share that often. Sometimes people don't know that pull-ups are covered by insurance.
Oh, wow.
When you have a disabled child. And,
Okay.
after they get a certain age where they're supposed to be potty trained at 3, then your insurance will kick in and start shipping you pull-ups straight to your door.
What?
So
That
my
was
son's
good to know.
9 and he's just getting there. And so that's why I share, because it's so much. You got family members to navigate telling you, girl, you need to potty train that child.
Oh my gosh.
So many things. So many internal embarrassment you might have yourself. So sharing helps them to know they're not alone.
How have you navigated dealing with those comments from family or even maybe people you don't know? Like if your son is maybe having an episode in public, what have you figured out that works for you?
I wear a lot of apparel shirts. It'll say like autism or something if I know I'm going to go out with him. Now, I also got like a stroller that is like sort of like a stroller wheelchair, but not really. It's an adaptive stroller to help me with him while I'm in public, because he started getting bigger to where if he had a meltdown, I was at his mercy. Like I can't pick him up. He's too heavy now. He's 120. And when he's dead weight, I can't do anything. So finding those adaptive things that really help. And then being vocal to the family members. So like, you got one time. And I'm gonna ask you, did you raise a child with autism? And then you may not hear from me again, based on your response, but I treat them how they need to be treated sometimes.
Yes.
And I'm very vocal and communicate. So.
Yeah, I love that. Fair.
Yep.
Fair and straightforward.
Yes.
To the point.
Yeah.
Have you ever?
Yes.
Because they can't tell you how to navigate
autism
this.
is so much of a spectrum. Even if you do have a child with autism, I'm talking about meltdowns, and my son didn't sleep at night. He would go to bed at 8, wake up at 11, and then just up all night, and then do it the next day, and then do it the next day. So I was sleep deprived, but someone else might not experience that ever.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's so different for everybody.
How have you been able to find those moments of joy in all of this as you figure it out?
Funny thing is, it sounds like a play of words, but it's really not. Like, my mother named me Joy. My middle name is Joy, but it was after she had my sister, and like they both almost died, and then I came through like boop. And then she's like, wait a minute, the sun's shining through the window. Let's give her Joy as her middle name. But that was literally arsenal that carried me through my whole life. And like, I don't play about my mental health now because I was on the verge of a nervous breakdown. Like when I left my career as an executive chef 12 years ago, when I came to Houston, I gave it like 5 months and it just was too much. It was me or my husband that he said, babe, you could leave work if you want, and I got us, and I did, and I never went back.
Nice.
So like it was too much in trying to navigate at the same time. And so I'd go to therapy, I do what I need to do to take care of my mental health. And so I snatch moments, whether it's coffee and tea and silence in the morning. I love fuzzy covers and fuzzy slippers, and like I love to watch whatever show on Netflix. I like to eat, so like I will dive into those moments so that I'm full.
Yeah, get them where you can. Even the little things can make a difference.
Yeah.
Okay, all right, we got to get more tips from you and Nadine. We're bringing her back so we can help everyone navigate an autism diagnosis. We'll be right back in just a couple minutes, y'all. welcome back. We've got both Camille and Nadine. Y'all are going to give us some more fantastic tips on handling an autism diagnosis. But you all knew each other already, even though you were all the way in Jersey, Nadine, and Camille here in Houston. How did y'all connect originally?
I shared this show that her son was in that you guys talked about before, that cartoon. I shared it on social media, and she commented under and was like, "This is my son, and this is what we do here." She DM'd me her phone number, and we talked once. But the thing about it, Nadine, is that like she just kept telling me resources, kept giving me advice. She was like, "You need to start a nonprofit." I was doing my event like just regular, and she was giving me advice.
Awesome.
She's like, "Come with me here, come with me there." She's like a big sister to me, so she really took me under her wing after that.
Yes, and look at you now. We're all besties.
Yep, yes.
I'm super proud of her.
Yes. Okay, so if someone receives that autism diagnosis, going through the same thing you two ladies have gone through, what is the first thing that they should be thinking about? Nadine, you touched on not blaming yourself. That's part of the equation, right?
Yeah, I think it's important. The first thing we do, what did we do wrong? And that's normal reaction. But what I had to realize and what they need to realize, you did nothing wrong. The time that you spend dealing with that, you're taking away from getting the help and supports that your child needs. So scoop right into action. Early intervention is key. A lot of the resources that are available to families, they vary from state to state. So find out what your state offers. Camille has a 411 on a lot of that. I can tell you a lot about Jersey because that's where I live. Excuse me, but there's so many other resources that families don't know. And as Camille touched on earlier, she talks a lot because people need to know, and I do too. I talk so much that people can't shut me up because they should know.
Oh, we love it. We love it though. Such great information. And so people will actually need to search for those resources, not just through their state, but also then you have local, you have federal as well. How do you recommend people navigate that part of it?
Well, there's a few ways. There's 211, which is an amazing resource. You can call and ask them for local organizations that deal with children with autism. So then they'll probably give you Eastern Field. There's so many, the ARC, there's so many organizations that are nationwide, but they have different chapters. And then one of the most amazing resources is the Disability Medicaid waiver list, because a lot of parents are going to be rejected from Medicaid because of how much money they make, but every state has a waiver program, and that allows your child to get services that are otherwise they wouldn't be able to, but it doesn't go by your income, it goes by the child's income. And every state is different. Like Texas, we have a 15-year wait list, but Nadine's state is amazing. Up north, they have amazing waivers. So Mason won't get his until he's an adult, and then he'll be able to get things like horseback riding therapy. If he needed to go into care in a home or a day program to help pay for it, you need something fixed on your home, like a wheelchair ramp or something like that. It'll cover everything.
Wow, that's wonderful.
And just to piggyback off of what Camille was saying, New Jersey is probably one of the best states. Everyone's going to flood to New Jersey. But one of the best states to have a special needs child. Kudos to New Jersey for recognizing that these children do matter and making sure that they give supports to them. And to, home improvements, I am a perfect example of it. Nassan's an elopement risk, my son. I had a brand new fence built around my property, paid for by the state to keep him safe. So again, these are resources that are out here. Unfortunately, each state's differ in how they support it. And I tell parents all the time, get out there, find out what's in your community. And if it's not there, you advocate to get it.
And Nadine, I got to throw it out there. You have a huge facility that will be opening up, right?
Yes, I'm grateful. The great mayor of the city of Newark, New Jersey, where I was born and raised, Mayor Ras J. Baraka, saw the impact of our work and helping families in the community. Because again, Black and brown communities are often forgotten in terms of getting services and supports. And he saw the countless lives, thousands of lives that we were impacting. And the one thing we didn't have was a home of our own. So he gifted us land. So now we're on the road, needing funding, but on the road to building a state-of-the-art autism center that will service all of our families, no matter what their zip code. They don't have to live in Newark. They don't even have to live in New Jersey. If they need supports and services, and we can provide that through that center, we will, not only will we be building this center to support our services and programming, we're building 44 units of affordable housing with a percentage going to families of children with autism.
Wow, incredible. Congratulations on that. I could talk to you ladies all day, but we do have to go. But before we go, I just want to touch on the fact that both of you have told me about the importance of self-care. So what do you want to leave the folks with out there if they are navigating this as well?
I would say make it a priority, because a lot of times people say, I don't have time, I don't have help, but you have to make it. It is not an excuse. You find your community, make your village. If you don't have friends or family members, ask a teacher, a teacher's assistant, ask another parent you might know, but it's a necessity for you to take care of yourself.
Yes, indeed.
And I'm going to say this, mental wellness is important. I took a date the other day for myself, something I normally don't do. I tell parents all the time to do it, because if we don't take care of ourselves mentally, we can't take care of our children because we're so overwhelmed. But the reality of it is that, you know, most of us are going to go before those children. So we have to prepare ourselves mentally, because it's overwhelming, the not knowing what's going to happen to our child. So what we have to do is put those support services, build your village, but more importantly, take care of your mental health. That is so important.
Yes. So thank you, ladies, for sharing all this important information. You guys are going to take a quick break. We'll be right back after this.
Come back to me.
Thank you, ladies, so much. Such great information. I know y'all are continuing to help so many families across the nation. You guys check out Moments of Joy podcast and Nassan's Place for so much more. And you got to subscribe to our YouTube, obviously. Chatting with Chelsea, and keep up with us on social. Chelsea's Fox 26, wardrobe provided by Trezor Cache Boutique. And we'll see you on the next Chatting with Chelsea.